Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today we'll be reviewing the fifth album from German neoclassical power metal band Vance, titled The Evil in You. Now this album is the first one to be fronted by singer Mats Levin, best known for his work with Yngwie Malmsteen, and replaces band co-founder and original vocalist Oliver Hartmann. Now how does this album hold up 21 years after its initial release? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1, Fallen Angel. A great start to the album, a typical sounding classic power metal song here. A bit of thrash elements can also be heard as well in certain parts, particularly during the chorus and certain parts of the guitar melody overall. I give this one an 8 out of 10. Number 2, Broken Vow. Now this is what I'm talking about. Not your typical power metal song here. While the first song was more in the classic style of power metal, this one is definitely in the style of progressive power metal, which is truly where I'm right at home at. You have your prerequisite elements of the genre, like the hallmark speed, energy, and grandiosity of power metal, but the songwriting here is not typical of the generic power metal style by any means. To start, this is more in line with the darker side of the genre, similar to bands like Camelot and Redemption, and the operatic vocals are more restrained and tastefully implemented as opposed to trying to stay at a blistering 10 the entire time. And the fact that the lead singer, Mats Levin, has a raspy quality to his voice, a trait he shares with previous lead vocalist Oliver Hartmann, is reminiscent of singers like Tom England of Evergrey or Russell Allen of Symphony X, and really gives this band a unique sound vocally. The chorus on this is so catchy, it's pretty much forcing you to sing along. Not catchy in the happy, triumphant way that most power metal is, but in a much more tragic, bleeding heart kind of way, if that makes any sense. And I absolutely love it. And that synth intro in the beginning draws you in automatically, with the vocals and the music perfectly complementing each other on this song. A great prog power song here. I give this one a 10 out of 10. The next song is the title song, The Evil in You. It's damn near impossible not to hear the similarities to Black Sabbath's legendary track Heaven and Hell. From the beginning section of the song and the way it builds itself up, it's damn near identical in almost every way, at least to my ears. The selected notes being played aren't the same, obviously, but the cadence absolutely is. Unfortunately, that's where the similarities or the acknowledgement of anything good at all with this track stops dead in its tracks. Right around the 50-second mark, the song just drops into complete mediocrity.
Well, there's something there that's frightening.
At least in my opinion. I don't know. Some people may take a liking to it, but personally I think it's too slow and the lyrics are just run-of-the-mill with no real passion behind them. I give this one a 1.5 out of 10. Number 4, Stronger Than You Think. Alright, we're back on track. I love it when melodic metal bands write riffs that perfectly fit the melodic cadence of the singer's vocal style, and that's definitely the case here. From the first few seconds, your mind can already hear the vocals seamlessly over the riffs, even though no lyrics have been uttered yet. It's like a kind of musical foreshadowing of sorts. Once you see the title of the song and hear those opening riffs, your mind just puts 2 and 2 together, and more often than not, it's exactly how it ends up sounding when the vocals are actually performed. Not the biggest fan of the hook, but thankfully it's not repeated very often, so it's not really detrimental to the song's overall quality. All in all, this is another pretty decent track. I give this one a 7 out of 10. The next song is called The Curtain Will Fall. Another slower track here, and again, I personally don't care for the song in this style. Or for songs in this style, I mean. It sounds like one of those really shitty 80s metal anthems, not the good kind by any means. It's not a badly written song, but it does nothing for me as far as establishing a connection to what's going on musically. I will give it some credit for maintaining a dark atmosphere throughout the song's runtime, but that's not saying much considering the title of the album. Now, some people may like this, especially if you like that corny 80s hair metal stuff, but for me, this is an automatic skip every time. I give this one a 1 out of 10. Number 6, A Million Miles Away. My notes on this song are nearly identical to the previous song. Not really anything here that keeps my attention, although the hook is halfway decent. It actually sounds pretty cool when the choir comes in at the end and repeats it in the background, but that doesn't happen until the very end of the song. If this song had been a faster one with more momentum, a lot of what's going on here musically would actually sound pretty cool to me, but that potential is squandered by making this another boring-ass mid-tempo track. I give this one a 2 out of 10. The next song is called Right or Wrong. After 2 less than stellar songs, we return to form on this track. We start with a dual harmony of keyboards and guitar that perfectly transitions into a landslide of energy. All those lively power metal hallmarks are on full display here. A lot of speed, a ton of melody, and a great chorus. I give this one a 9 out of 10. The next song is called Shining Star. So, here we go again. But this time it's not just another slow song. It's a goddamn slow ballad. I can't stand it when metal bands try to do ballads and fall flat on their motherfucking faces. 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what happens every time. They always come out sounding so insincere and half-assed that I almost never connect with any of the songs. There's only a handful of bands who can write ballads that actually sound like real songs that you can feel connected to. Some examples I think of are Camelot, Angra, Conception, Symphony X, Avantasia, sometimes Nightwish and Epica, and possibly another small handful of bands, but 99.9% of the time, it never strikes a connection with the listener. And that is 100% the case here. This song is so goddamn bland. Definitely a skip for me. 0 out of 10. The next song is called Street of Dreams. Wasting no time in picking the pace back up, the guitars come in at a light speed from the moment the song starts. Nothing particularly stand out here. It's a pretty standard power metal track with a catchy hook. It definitely serves its purpose. I have nothing to really complain about here. Nothing exemplary, but nothing too bad either. I give this one an 8 out of 10. We're down to the last 2 songs. The next song is called Caprice Number 16. A cover of classical composer Niccolo Paganini, it's the 16th part of his larger composition titled The 24 Caprices. This particular section consists of a continuous stream of 16 notes. It's only a minute 33 long, and it is impressive technically, but still it seems like an odd choice for a progressive power metal band. And I say this because you hear power metal and symphonic metal bands cover classical composers all the time. I mean, it's not a surprise. This genre, or both of those genres of metal, pretty much were born from metal musicians trying to imitate Paganini and bring it into the metal circle. So it's almost a rite of passage of sorts for almost every band in this genre, or in these genres, to attempt this at some point in their career. A lot of my favorite bands have done it. Angra, Darkmoor, Nightwish, Symphony X, Suspire, Pagan's Mind, and several others. Now, usually they pull it off pretty well, and of course a large part of that comes from the band members having raw talent, but it's also because they often select musical pieces that have a lot of dynamics to them, and they approach the performance in their own unique way musically. But this piece here is just uninspired. I mean, yeah, it's technically impressive, but I mean, compare this piece, Caprice number 16, to something like the unfinished Allegro from Angra's first album, Angel's Cry. I could show you several more examples from other bands, but I think this one comparison makes my point. Yngwie Malmsteen would have wiped his fucking ass with something like this back in the 80s. It definitely feels like a filler track in every sense of the word. I give this one a 3 out of 10. And the final song of the album, track number 11, is titled Princess of Ice. Thank God we end on a decent track here. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something in the melody is partially reminiscent of the Unsolved Mysteries theme song. Take that as you will. This is an alright mid-tempo power metal track, as with a few of the other tracks on this album. The hook on this one is pretty catchy. It's not earworm levels of catchy, but you probably won't forget it too quickly after you hear it, and could potentially be one of the things you take away as memorable from this album. Other than that, nothing too out of the box here musically. Just your standard mid-tempo power metal fare. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't hate it, I don't love it. I'll split the difference down the middle. I give this one a 5 out of 10. So, this is an alright album. Some memorable moments for sure. When it's good, it's pretty goddamn good, and when it's not, well, it's just what it is. Not every album can be a solid winner regardless of how well-intentioned or talented the band members are. The rhythm section could definitely be stronger for sure. Personally, I think that would have done wonders for the final product, but I'll admit that the guitar work really is present. It's just not very out-of-the-box creativity-wise. When it comes down to it, as far as the whole body of work, I'd say that about half of the songs are pretty damn good, and the others are just there. Personally, the first 2 songs to me make the album worth it on their own, especially the second song, Broken Vow, which is my absolute favorite on the album, and one of my favorite from the band's entire catalog. I can't tell you how many times I've played this song on repeat since I first heard it. I say if you're curious, definitely give this album a listen. You'll likely find yourself enjoying at least 1 or 2 songs. Ultimately, I give this project a 7 out of 10. And for anyone out there who is currently a fan of this band or familiar with their material, what's your opinion on the album, and how do you think it stands up to the rest of their discography? If you feel comfortable with sharing, please let me know in the comments below. I'd like to take this time to thank my editor, and to thank you all for your time as well. I sincerely appreciate it. Of course, if you're interested in this kind of content, I kindly ask that you like and subscribe, leave a comment, click the notification bell to be notified of all new releases, and share this video with anyone you think who may be interested. Until next time everyone, take care of yourselves and each other.